Hello there, my name is Jessica and welcome to my channel. Today's video is brought to you by the Marathon Sewciety. We are making the Greedy Clutch by Hollow Bag Creations. There are several flaps to choose from and I chose the Batwing flap and I'm really excited about it. This is my first time sewing the Greedy Clutch. Thank you so much to Hollow Bag Creations for letting the Marathon Sewciety film videos for today's marathon. I hope you'll join us throughout the day as we're all working on different flaps. If you're looking for a step-by-step tutorial, the designer has one available. The link to that and the pattern are in the description below. Thanks for joining me today. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's go over our pieces. Since I am doing a glitter flap, I have 3 pieces for it. I've got clear vinyl, and then I have the exterior flap, which is this beautiful Courtyard green. I'm not sure if you can see the green. I've been dying to use this. It is from Mormino. I went ahead and applied some fusible fleece on the back of this. You could use foam if you'd like. Whatever is more comfortable for you. And then my interior of the flap is water resistant canvas. I think it's water resistant. I got it from Zipper Valley. It is pretty thin. It feels like it's water resistant instead of waterproof canvas. I did go ahead and install the magnetic snaps on that as well. And then you'll need 2 pieces for the exterior. I went ahead and installed one of these bag tags. They are from the Heartwood and Hide. It's cork. It says Foolish Mortals. I just thought it was so cute because it's got little bats on there. And then I've got the other piece. This is the front. And I've already got my magnetic snaps installed in that as well. And then you'll need 2 pieces for the lining. This would be different if you are installing the credit card slots, but I am not doing that. So instead of doing that, I just went ahead and cut out 2 pieces for the lining. And then I have a label that I'm going to go ahead and place inside whenever we close up the lining. Also, I've got my glitter confetti. It has bats in it. It's also from Mormino. I'll be using a chain strap. I think I got this from Saya Swag. And then for my strap anchors, I'm using this glitter. I think it's called translucent glitter in emerald. I thought this would be really pretty. And I'm kind of second guessing the antique gold hardware for this. I chose this later on. I didn't choose the hardware later on. I just chose this later on for the strap anchors. And then, I don't know, I guess it looks pretty good. There's gold speckles in there, so I thought it would look good, but seeing it together, I don't know. Maybe it'll look better once we have it all attached. And then you'll need some rivets. I'm only going to be using, I think, 4. And this is to attach the strap anchors to the bag. If you are going to be making a strap or a wristlet, you'll definitely want to make sure you have enough of those to make a strap, unless you want to sew it down, whatever's easiest for you. All right, so for mine, I believe that is everything. So we can go ahead and get started sewing. All right, so the first thing I'm going to start off with is the flap for the bat wing. So I've got my clear vinyl piece and I have my exterior piece. I've already made center marks on the top. So what I did was I placed my center marks at the top together, and now I'm going to go ahead and clip them together only at the top for right now. There is a template for the Batwing flap add-on. It's called a marking guide. I'm going to be using the template off camera. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to make all of your marks to make this into your Batwing so that you can sew all the lines to make it look nice and pretty. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do that off camera and go ahead and make my marks, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I made my marks using chalk. I'm not sure if you can see the lines that I've drawn, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew down down all of those lines. That was my dog. So I'm going to go to the machine and go ahead and start sewing all those lines down. Okay, and then after that, we will go ahead and attach the lining. All right, so this is what it looks like right now. I have all of those lines sewn down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and close up my clear vinyl. So I'm going to go down the straight edge and go along the bat wing here and go up the straight edge on the other side. And then I will attach the lining piece. And then we'll add the glitter. So it's looking good so far. All right, well that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my lining piece. And we're going to go ahead and take this so that it's right sides together. When you're cutting out something that is directional, you want to cut it so the pattern piece is upside down. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just clip all the edges. I'm going to be leaving the top alone so we can insert all the glitter. So I'm just going to clip along the side and the bottom edges here. I will sew the sides and the bottom edges at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, so I have sewn the flap completely together. What I'm going to do now is flip it so it's right side out very carefully. Oh, also I did trim down all of the edges. That looks really good. So I'm going to work on my corners, and I'm going to just roll my seams together since I'm using vinyl and this water resistant canvas. And then we'll add some glitter and we'll close up the top by attaching it. Well, I'll go ahead and probably just baste it together, but we'll close down the top. And I think we're top stitching this as well. I don't know, I need to check the pattern real quick. All right, so I'm gonna choose not to top stitch, only because I don't wanna perforate that clear vinyl on the sides. I guess I could go ahead and do it at the bottom, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm not worried about that. I'm not gonna do that. I've got the back exterior out already. To move on to the next step after I put the glitter in there. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and put glitter into every little area that I have open in this bat wing. Oh my goodness. Just how stinking cute is that? I love it. Did I add enough sprinkles? I don't know. I think maybe I did. All right, so we are going to go ahead and grab the back panel for the exterior, and then we're going to go ahead and take our flap and we're going to lay it so that they're right sides together. So we're looking at the back of your lining, and I'm going to go ahead and match up those centers and clip the top edge, and I'm going to go ahead and attach this at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, so now that the flap is attached, it looks really cute. We are going to go ahead and grab the other exterior panel and then your lining panels. This is where we are going to go ahead and take our darts down here, and we're going to place them so that they are right sides together. And we'll add a couple of clips. And then what we're going to do is sew all of the darts together. The seam allowance for the exterior is different than the seam allowance for the lining, so make sure you pay attention to that. All right, so we've got it done on this one, so now we'll go ahead and move on to clipping the darts together on the other exterior panel, and as well as our lining panels. If you've never sewn a dart before, what you do is you start at the bottom raw edge and you sew at the seam allowance given in the pattern along this edge here, and you sew all the way up until there's nothing left to sew, and you'll do that on all of your darts on your lining panels and on your exterior. Okay, so now that our darts have been completed on our lining pieces and then our exterior pieces, what we're going to do now is we're going to put them all together. I am going to go ahead and start off with the exterior. So I'm going to go ahead and place these so that the darts are out. And we are going to place them so they are right sides together. So it's really up to you on whether you take your darts and you place them so the seams are open, like a butterfly seam, or if you want to turn them in the opposite directions and nest them. Again, it really is up to you on how you want it to be sewn together. I am going to open up my seams here and clip them together. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Whatever you decide to do with your seams, you want to make sure that you do the same thing to the other side. So I'll open my seams here. And you'll want to do the same thing with your seams with your interior. So I've got that together. I'll go ahead and clip it. And then now I'll go ahead and clip all of my edges. I'm leaving the flap out of the way. You can place this inside if you would like. That's probably going to be easier. So I'll go ahead and start clipping at the top. We will not be sewing the top together, so leave that open. So go ahead and start clipping all of your sides, and we'll go ahead and sew the exterior together at the seam allowance given in the pattern. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with our lining, and they're going to be right sides together. Nestle those little darts together. You can trim the seam allowance down on the darts for your interior if you would like, but I will do that at the end after I've sewn everything together. So you can do a drop-in method for this bag if you would like. I will not be doing that. I'll be doing the birthing method, which means we'll be leaving an opening at the bottom of the lining, and I'm opening those seams just like I did on the exterior. I'm starting with the seams of the darts first before I clip the rest of my edges. Now pay attention to the seam allowance given in the pattern for your lining. It is different than the exterior. You will start out at the top with the seam allowance and then gradually increase your seam allowance, so make sure you pay attention to that. After I sew over the darts, I will come out about an inch or so, and that's where I will stop and backstitch. Same thing on this side. I'll come over about an inch away from that dart and then backstitch really well and then start sewing up the other side. Again, make sure to pay attention to the seam allowances in the pattern, and then whenever I close up the lining, I'll go ahead and attach this tag. All right, so let's go ahead and sew the exterior and our lining pieces together. Don't forget, leave that opening if you're doing the birthing method. Okay, so the exterior panels have now been sewn together. I did go ahead and trim down all of the edges except for about an inch or so on the top edges here. And then I did the same thing with the lining pieces where I trimmed down the edges, but I left the sides at the top alone and also the bottom where we're going to be birthing it through. I did not cut that. So now what we need to do is go ahead and take our exterior and place it so that it is now right sides out. And we need to make a couple of measurements on the exterior. This is where we're going to place the, what are they called? The strap anchors. That's cute. Okay, so we'll come over with a ruler, and what you're going to do is the measurement is listed in the pattern. You're going to make the measurement on each side where that seam is. I will go ahead and do that off camera, and then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and attach my strap anchors like it's indicated in the instructions. All right, so I've attached the strap anchors here. There we go. That actually looks pretty good. I know I was second guessing the hardware, but I love it with the green. Looks pretty good. All right, so we're going to keep our exterior so that it is right side out, and we're going to keep our lining so that it is wrong side out. And then we're going to go ahead and take our exterior. I'm going to make sure my flap is down. And we're going to place it inside of our lining. And you're going to match up those side seams as best as you can. You can open your seams if you would like, or you can nest them. I'm going to open them and clip them together. And then do the other side. Do it the same way that you did the other seam. Now we'll go ahead and clip the top edges together, and then we'll sew this around the perimeter at the seam allowance given in the pattern. All right, so we have sewn the top edges together at the seam allowance given in the pattern. We're going to go ahead and go through this opening at the bottom of the lining and carefully pull the exterior through the lining. This is probably going to take me a minute because my flap is very thick, but it can be done. Just take your time. I will save the lining for last. I just want to make sure that I'm happy with everything before I close this up, and also don't want to forget to add this woven label. So I'm just going to clip everything together for right now. So I'm going to change my mind and top stitch with the exterior up. My bobbin thread is the same color as my exterior, or that broke. Not exterior, but my bobbin thread is the same color thread as the top thread, so it should be fine. Okay, so you'll top stitch with the flap up out of the way. All right, so I've got my edges up here clipped together, and your flap will be up again. I obviously can't do anything over here where the flap is, so I'm just going to do my best to smooth everything out as I top stitch around the perimeter here. And again, your flap will be up. All right, so let's get that top stitched. All right, it's been top stitched. That looks pretty good. Kind of looks like a seashell or something, but it's a very, very cute. All we need to do now is go ahead and close up our lining and then attach our strap, and this is all done. All right, so I still have this clipped. I'm just going to go to the machine and I'm just going to stitch this down at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then that'll be it. All right, so we have completed the greedy clutch with the batwing flap, bedazzled with all that shimmery glitter and the bats that are inside of the flap. Again, this is a pattern by Hollow Bag Creations. Thank you for letting us use your pattern in today's marathon, and thanks to everyone for joining me. Up next is Beth from Sew Country, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.